Hey, my name is Lariana Cull, and I'm the film reporter for the Georgian. My first review of this semester is over the 5 biggest movies that came out over winter break. Director David O. Russell assembled his very own all-star team of actors to form a nearly perfect cast for American Hustle. Drawing from his last 2 films, The Fighter and Silver Linings Playbook, he brought in Amy Adams, Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, and Jennifer Lawrence. Together, the group draws you in with their 70s thrift shop attire. American Hustle has a wonderful combination of quirky, slightly idiotic characters being tossed into intense and illegal scenarios. The film has comedy, heist, sex, and Christian Bale with an increasingly ambitious comb-over. It has definitely lived up to its multiple nominations at this year's Academy Awards. Saving Mr. Banks is a beautiful movie for moviegoers of all ages. No matter your age, the magical world of Disney has moved us all in some way or another. And to be given a glimpse of what went into making a Disney classic with Tom Hanks playing the legendary Walt Disney himself is breathtaking. The movie exceeded expectations by not only transporting its audience back to Disney parks in the 60s, but showed the audience the story behind the story. Instead of Disneyland, the film began at the real beginning of the story in the early 1900s in Australia. The movie shows the life of P.L. Travers, author of Mary Poppins, in bits and pieces inserted all throughout the movie. As Travers' childhood is revealed, the more the audience understands her and why she was such a thorn in the side of every Disney employee she encountered. Because of how the story is told, your emotions twist and turn with the characters from beginning to end. In the beginning of the movie, you want to physically assault the character of P.L. Travers for being so difficult. But at the end of the movie, however, you root for her to succeed and cry for her when she hurts. It is very difficult to play a fictional character. It is even more difficult when the character was a real person, and both Tom Hanks as Walt Disney and Emma Thompson as P.L. Travers give near-to-perfect performances. Almost a decade later, Will Ferrell styles his famous stash as he plays the wildly inappropriate Ron Burgundy in Anchorman 2: The Legend Continues. In this sequel, Ron Burgundy finds himself in the 80s and on the world's very first 24-hour news network. He reassembles his old news team, Champ Kine, Brian Fantana, and Brick Tamland. The old gang will keep you laughing throughout as they spoof nearly every common stereotype of the 1980s American workplace. The film has its fair share of comedic bits and celebrity cameo appearances, but it doesn't quite live up to the original. Although there are funny, nonsensical one-liners, they just aren't quite as quotable as the first. If you have a problem with profanity, The Wolf of Wall Street is not the movie for you. It has set a record for the most swear words used in a movie in Hollywood history with over 500 F-bombs. Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street is adapted from the memoir of stockbroker Jordan Belfort, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who slimed his way into a fortune in the 1980s and 90s through various investment scams. The film is 3 hours long and does indeed drag in a few places. This is partially due to the 2-hour parade of drugs, alcohol, parties, prostitutes, and excessive spending. After a while, you just hit a mental overload. Although the film did drag in a few places, DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, and Matthew McConaughey did a good job playing your stereotypical Wall Street businessmen. They are entirely shameless and find a way to keep the audience intrigued in their portrayal of these loathsome men. Those who have not read the book The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien would probably enjoy the film adaptation The Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug. However, for those who know the original story, the second film installment of the fantasy story might be disappointing. To say that the screenplay writers took artistic freedom with the script would be an understatement. Not only were events and characters added to the movie that were not in the book, but the social roles and persona of characters who were in the book were changed. This is referring to the character of Bard, who in the book is a guardsman and well-respected in Lake Town, whereas the movie portrays him as almost an outcast. And although many may enjoy seeing Orlando Bloom in all his blonde elven glory, his character Legolas was nowhere in the original book. This is almost excusable because his character and Evangeline Lilly's character Tariel add a romantic aspect to the series that was missing from the first movie. And although the film had great effects and action sequences, there was too much time wasted on trying to tie in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. All that time could have been better spent on staying true to Tolkien's original and monstrously successful story. Thanks for watching, and my next story will be over this year's Oscar nominations, which you can find Friday online at thegeorgian.com.